If Power Rangers Megaforce was the most despised season of Power Rangers, then Super Megaforce is super despised. In many ways, it embodies and emboldens all the flaws of its predecessor, then adds a thick layer of cloying, cheap nostalgia pandering to round out the package. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. What is this season actually about? Simply put, it expands on prior plot threads in bizarre ways. There's still an alien invasion, but after Prince Vrock's disappearance, it's now led by the whinier, more flamboyant Prince Vekar and his own gallery of stooges. Regrettably, Vekar and company are uninteresting and bland, with little connection to the show's characters or themes. In comparison, Megaforce gave us the mutants, the Insectoid Army, and Metal Alice. Regardless of whether these characters were well written, they were highly memorable, and they tied strongly into Megaforce's philosophy on human exceptionalism and environmentalism. Continuing the trend, Super Megaforce also introduced a bunch of new powers which, like the villains, are poorly explored and poorly explained. Now everyone is dressed like pirates, some of the Rangers have swapped colors, and they also have access to every prior Ranger transformation in the entire series' history. Why? Gosh, well, I'd sure love to give you an answer, but there really isn't one. Worse than hand-waving explanations, Super Megaforce regularly refuses explanations entirely. This is presumably so it can spend more time on bland fight scenes with no interesting character dynamics, tension, or drama. If anything I just mentioned sounds the least bit cool or clever, I assure you, it is done with as little creativity and care as possible. So, does Super Megaforce get anything right? Well, yeah. I mean, it's 20 episodes long, there are some solid ideas here or there. Most notably, Noah, the Blue Ranger, gets a full-on, well-deserved character arc. Back in Megaforce, he was exclusively the nerd character, but this time around, he pushes himself to new heights, becomes a master of swordplay, and by the end of the season, he's glowing with confidence. There's some beautiful, cheesy shonen goodness on display. There's also the 6th Ranger, Orion, who is handled pretty poorly for the most part. He has a dime a dozen tragic backstory and reflects all the most generic 6th Ranger tropes, but he also gets an absolutely killer scene about the crushing gravity of survivor bias. Being the last living citizen of his homeland's invasion, he carries the weight and responsibility of every soul he failed to save. And at first, he felt he may never know joy again, until he learned the importance of embracing levity and friendship. It's a stunningly lucid character arc sandwiched between mountains of insufferable idiocy. Speaking of that insufferable idiocy, Super Megaforce fancies itself an anniversary season. It makes a big fuss of bringing back old Rangers and Zords from the series' storied past. As you might imagine, this is done quite poorly. All the Legacy Rangers and Legacy Zords are given little respect, and it's plainly apparent that the showrunners didn't have the time, resources, or care to keep the continuity straight. The end result is just a protagonist shouting, "Whoa! Remember Samurai? Whoa! Remember Ninja Storm? Whoa! Remember Jungle Fury?" and stretching that out to 20 minutes apiece. There are still some faint glimmers of hope when Vrock returns for a thrilling two-parter, which celebrates all the best aspects of Megaforce. There's mind control, a big emotional unmorphed fight scene, a wild and wacky master plan, Robo Knight gets a big heroic sacrifice, and the Rangers inexplicably use the power of the solar eclipse to cleave Vrock in two once and for all. This mini-arc expertly ties together several loose plot elements and does it in style. Unfortunately, it then dovetails into the season finale, which exemplifies all of Super Megaforce's flaws. There's minimal character dialogue, incessant padding, superficial nostalgia bait, inexplicable new powers, and also, Robo Knight mysteriously returns from the dead for 10 seconds, then disappears again. If there is something the finale can get wrong, it does. The very final scene is a massive battle which was foreshadowed since the first episode of the original Megaforce. Said battle lasts around 2 minutes, contains criminally poor choreography, and then almost everyone turns into golden dust and scatters throughout the cosmos. No, I do not know why. Super Megaforce is overall baffling, broken, and reeks of corporate cynicism. It was a careless attempt to cash in on longtime fans, while also hypnotizing younger audiences with rapid-fire explosive action scenes. With the exception of some key episodes, it's almost entirely heartless. Or, as my boyfriend Draconic put it, dang, I bet they made a lot of money.